Howdy y'all, name's Clover. First off, I want to thank y'all so much for all the sweet words and encouragement on my very first time-lapse video. I really didn't expect such a warm response, but y'all showed up with so much kindness that it honestly made me tear up a little bit. It also gave me the courage to try something new, adding my own voice on top of these videos, so I can walk you through the process and even share a little bit of what was going on behind the scenes. Now, I've been thinking a lot lately about what kind of life I want to build. And one of my biggest dreams is to make enough projects like these so that I can offer live 2D model work without having to charge clients directly. I talked about this a little bit over on my Twitter, but in case you didn't see it, it's real important to me that folks who've got a dream don't feel shut out by money. I'd love to reach a point where I could just say, hey, don't worry about the payment, I got you covered. I think things like this, the time lapses, commentary, sharing what I've learned, I think they might be the ticket to getting us there. So if you're here and you're watching, especially if you watch all the way through, you're already helping me get one step closer to that goal. And you don't even have to open your pocketbook for it. With all that said and done, let's talk about today's model update for Fernwytch. Fern's model was my second time working with the full body rig, and my first time dabbling in a human anime style rig. Up until then, I'd mostly been working with creatures, critters, and more stylized characters, so this one was a big old learning leap for me. I actually found Fern through Twitter. She popped up on my feed one day and something about her vibe was real comforting. So I ended up lurking on her stream for a good while and just listening to her while I worked or relaxed. Then one day she mentioned this adorable 90s themed model she was cooking up, and let me tell you, I was hooked the moment I saw it. I reached out and offered to rig the model for free, mostly because I wanted to learn. I figured here's a chance to explore full body rigging, dive deeper into V-bridger tracking, and try out rigging a new art style, all while bringing someone's dream to life. Felt like a win-win, and it absolutely was. Now, coming back to this project for an update has been kind of a trip. I could see right away how much I've grown since the first time I rigged it. My workflow's cleaner, my layer and logic is stronger, and my eye for small deformer adjustments have gotten way sharper. But I won't lie, some of these old struggles came back to say howdy this time around. Rotations, for example, still ain't my best friend. Me and rotation deformers have a long history of giving each other the side eye. I swear, sometimes it feels like I gotta bribe them just to behave. But after a little trial and error, and maybe a few muttered words I don't dare repeat, I finally got them to do what I needed them to. You know, going back through this project really gave me a moment to sit with how far I've come. When I first started working on Fern's model, I was still figuring out where I wanted to place things, how to make the movement feel natural, and what to do when stuff just didn't behave. I remember sitting at my desk hunched over the layers feeling real frustrated at times, like maybe I'd gotten in over my head. But I kept at it. Little by little, it started to make sense. I was learning through every mistake, even if I didn't realize it at the time. And now, opening up this same file months later, I can spot things I used to struggle with and fix them in minutes. That's not something I could have done back then, and I think sometimes we forget that improvement don't always feel like a huge leap. It's usually quite slow and happens without us even realizing it. We're always so focused on what's next that we don't really stop to appreciate where we started. And I don't think I'll ever hit a point where I feel like I know everything, but I do know that I'm better than I was last month, and that's proof enough for me to know that I'm doing something right. This update was mostly about adding a toggle for a little mascot that Fern holds. Their name is Lavender. Now, Lavender's a simple model. The art wasn't made for talking, just light movement. So I had to get creative with expressiveness. They can't open their mouth, but I still wanted them to feel like they were reacting, like they were part of the conversation without saying anything at all. So I added mirrored mouth X movement to give the impression of thinking or shifting focus, and then I gave them a negative brow form so that they could show a little sass or frustration. Just enough to give them personality, but not so much that they upstage Fern. And y'all know I couldn't leave the ears and wings out. Like all my rigs, they got their own expressions as well. The ears perk up when surprised, they push back when they're upset. It's real subtle, but I think it helps breathe life into the model. It makes Lavender feel like a living companion instead of just a prop. Figuring out how Lavender should move with Fern took me a hot minute as well. I had to sit and think about what kind of relationship they had. I didn't want Lavender to just dangle there. I wanted them to react. So I set it up where Lavender leans with Fern's motions, almost like they're hanging on tight and trying to be a part of whatever's going on. So when Fern turns her head, Lavender kind of shifts too, like they're pushing and pulling against her arm with those tiny little paws of theirs. It's subtle, but I think it really helps sell the bond between them. Oh, and that tail? Well, I might have gone a little bit overboard. I ended up using 7 rotation deformers just to get that perfect swaying motion. Did I need that many? No, absolutely not. But it looked so good I couldn't help myself. Sometimes you just gotta indulge a little, All it does is a soft idle sway, but that sway makes me so happy. I could watch it loop all day. There's just a certain rhythm to it that feels real calm, like a warm breeze through a grassy field. I think part of it is just how peaceful it is to animate. It's these quiet little details that don't ask for a whole lot of attention, but you do notice it, and it feels real nice. Like the model's breathing a little, and I guess that's why I'll spend too much time on the tails. And they really don't do too much, but I love them anyways. Also, Fern's sleeves kind of gave me a bit of trouble too. They're semi-transparent, which is beautiful, but it makes layering a pain. If you don't do it just right, you'll end up reminding folks it's a 2D model real fast. So to resolve this issue, I reverse clipped the top sleeve to the forearm sleeve. That way, it lets just a hint of the bottom sleeve show through without breaking the illusion or showing any harsh layer edges. And it took a little bit of tinkering, but I'm honestly pretty happy with how clean it turned out. Then there's the potions, which are always a favorite of mine. Anytime I get to rig some kind of liquid effect, I light up a little inside. There's just something so fun about trying to fake that sloshy, floaty motion in 2D. I usually treat potion physics like a little side challenge in my rigs. It's one of those places I get to sneak in a bit of personality, even if folks won't really think twice about it. But I'll know it's there, and that's enough for me. It's a peaceful kind of thing to rig too, tapping up those tiny delays and arcs and watching it just swish around. I don't know, there's something calm to it. Kind of like with the tails, I probably spend a little too much time on this, but honestly, I think sometimes it's the little things like this, the details that no one really asks for, that makes the whole piece feel more alive. All in all, this update took me about 2.5 hours. A short and sweet little side project in between the big ones. And truth be told, these kind of updates feel a lot like cozy little side quests in a video game. If you stuck around all the way to the end, thank you so much. Truly, every view, every comment, every moment you spend here helps get me closer to the goal of building a world where creative folks don't gotta worry so much about the money part. They just gotta focus on making what they love. And that's a dream, ain't it? So, from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.